Hello and welcome to Season 6 of Agri-History. In this episode, we'll cover Adzuki Beans. The scientific name for Adzuki Beans is called Vigna angularis. This is the same genus that includes dry beans, which we'll cover later in the series. Adzuki Beans has been an important crop in Eastern Asia for thousands of years. Its wild progenitor grows widely in East Asia, and it's in that area where it was likely domesticated. However, in terms of countries and geographics, the exact origin point is unknown. Historic texts talk about Adzuki beans in a much later date than most other crops in that area. The first historic record of Adzuki beans appeared in the Eastern Zhou between 1046 to 256 BCE, due to the fact that documents describe events of earlier dates than when they were written, and as such, Adzuki beans could be potentially older than what the historical documents suggest. The limited archaeological evidence is a result of the difficulty telling apart soybean remains from Adzuki bean remains, and the general difficulty differentiating different species of Vigna from archaeological evidence. This is because seeds are the most common remains found in bean remnants, and these specimens have often lost color throughout the millennia. A preliminary study was done to show the general morphological changes over the course of 5,000 years in the Adzuki beans. It is from this study we will discuss the archaeological history of Adzuki beans. Adzuki has been historically reported in mostly Korea and Japan, although a few reports indicate the presence of Adzuki in China. A recent starch analysis tentatively discovered remnants of some sort of bean, possibly of a Vigna species, at the late Paleolithic site dated between 13,800 BP and 8,500 BP in the Shaanxi province. More solid evidence came from the mulch at a Neolithic site in Shandong. Hope I'm pronouncing these correctly. Samples found were dated between 4060 BP and 3840 BP. Another possible presence of Adzuki is reported from the Shang period dated between 3600 BP and 3300 BP. Prehistoric Korea is regarded as a secondary region where domesticated crops were bred, such as broomcorn millets and foxtail, which were introduced between 5500 BP and 5000 BP. Recent evidence suggests that Korea is one of the centers of domestication for soybean. This would add confusion due to the fact that soybean seeds and Adzuki bean seeds are very similar, archaeologically speaking. This puts Korea as a location for the domestication of Adzuki beans into question. However, due to known remnants of Adzuki bean being dated between 4960 and 4860 BP, this possibility of Korea being a center of domestication is still on the table. Remnants of bean pods of Adzuki beans of archaeological origin are smaller than modern ones, but bigger than wild ones. This shows a clear increase in pod length in Adzuki beans. Based on the distribution of wild Adzuki beans and its fertile hybridization with domesticated Adzuki beans, it has been suggested that the primary center of origin for Adzuki beans is China, but more ancient specimens have been found in Japan and Korea. Based on current dating techniques, most of these samples are between 5300 and 5060 BP, but ID could be labeled either Adzuki or soybean. However, based on current distribution and the various types of natural Adzuki populations, Japan is considered the center of diversity and possibly the center of origin of Adzuki. Based on a paper by Zhang et al., however, there have been reported 7 distinct strains of Adzuki. These include the Japanese complex Korean cultivated strain, the Chinese wild strain, the China-Taiwan strain, the Nepal-Bhutan cultivated strain, and the Himalayan wild strain. Based on the genetics and the geographical regions of these groups, it's been suggested that Adzuki has been domesticated from at least 4 progenitor populations of wild Adzuki beans, with 3 or more geographical origins. This concludes our video on Adzuki beans. Stay tuned for our next video on buckwheat. See you then.